A new order paper response from the Liberal government shows that the WE organization wasn't the only Liberal-linked charity getting rich off the backs of Canadian taxpayers under the Liberals' watch. Today we're talking about the money that has been flowing from the Liberals to Gerald Butt's former operation, the World Wildlife Fund. The World Wildlife Fund used to be headed up by former Principal Secretary to Justin Trudeau, Gerald Butts. It's also been the recipient of thousands upon thousands of dollars from the Tides Foundation to landlock Canadian oil and gas. Now, those are two pretty good reasons for that organization to not have received any money from the Canadian government. There's obviously a perceived or real conflict of interest. And the second reason is that no organization grinding against Canadian workers should be receiving funds the government earned off the backs of Canadian workers through tax dollars. But the World Wildlife Fund is getting a lot of money from Justin Trudeau's Liberals. Well, actually the money is from your tax dollars, but Justin Trudeau, he's the guy giving it to his anti-oil friends at the World Wildlife Foundation. And today's information comes to us by way of an order paper question asked by Conservative MP Cheryl Gallant. She's the MP from Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke. And she asks the government, with regard to government grants, contributions, and contracts, since January 1st, 2016, what are the details of all grants, contributions, or contracts given to the World Wildlife Fund or its international affiliates, broken down by the usual things like date, services, authorizer, time frame, and of course, the value of money wasted. And the response back from the government reveals to us two things. The first, the obvious, the enormous amount of money coming from just a couple of agencies directly to the World Wildlife Fund, and how the Liberals paid this explicitly anti-oil Tides-funded operation to consult on major oil and gas exploration projects. It's crazy. Let's get right into this. On page 11, the WWF received $24,000 from Canadian Heritage as part of the Canada 150 grant program to connect with nature and create streetscapes in Windsor, Ontario. On page 19, we can see that over $1 million flowed from environment and climate change and its associated agencies to the World Wildlife Fund. Some of it wasn't even for initiatives taking place here in Canada. $40,000 went to the World Wildlife Fund in Chile for integrated conservation action, whatever that means. Other times, environment and climate change through the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada was paying the World Wildlife Fund for, quote, engagement activities and to participate in regional meetings on offshore drilling in Newfoundland and Labrador. The agency did the same thing in Nova Scotia. On page 21 here, paying the enemies of oil and gas and offshore drilling a total of $25,000 in two separate installments to consult on two different projects, the Tilt Cove Exploration Drilling Project and West Flemish Pass Exploration Drilling Project. And look at this. The Liberals are letting the WWF review work submitted by others to the agency on these projects. It's outrageous. Page 22, Environment and Climate Change under former Minister McKenna does it again, paying the WWF two separate payments totaling $25,000 to review and submit written comments to the government on BHP Canada Exploration Drilling Project for work done in Nova Scotia and the Central Ridge Exploration Drilling Project for work done in Toronto. And it goes on and on like this. The Bay du Nord Development Project, the Gas Exploratory Drilling East of Newfoundland and Labrador Project. All of these projects basically had to go past the eyeballs of the WWF first. The Liberals were outsourcing their voices of no to the WWF, and we were all paying for it. You don't have to look very far into the WWF archives to see how they feel about offshore drilling. The Liberals knew that they were buying a voice of no when they were buying the WWF for oil and gas consultations. But that's why they bought them, isn't it? Let's keep going. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans gave the World Wildlife Fund nearly $4 million in 4 years in contracts. There could be more money across other agencies. On page 45, Health Canada thinks that answering accountability questions is a little too much like work and basically told Cheryl Gallant to just look online. The agency doesn't even give an answer, even though they're mandated by law to answer Gallant. On page 50, Crown, Indigenous Relations, and Northern Affairs Canada spent about $67,000 on the World Wildlife Fund as part of the Canada Arctic Renewable Energy Summit. Housing and clean drinking water on reserves took a back seat to enriching Justin Trudeau's friends. This is why Justin Trudeau stopped the Conservative audits into charitable organizations as soon as the Liberals took office. Your tax dollars are just a way to pay the Liberals' friends for busy work or pay their friends to put you out of work. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. The order paper that I reported on today is published online for the world to see. That means that any journalist in the country could have done the work that I did today. But the mainstream media just won't, because they don't want to show Justin Trudeau and his government for what they really are. Just a bunch of anti-oil radicals enriching their rich liberal friends. Now, one of the best ways to spread the word about the work that we do here at Rebel News is just to like and share our content and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so you never miss a story.